Hello everyone, thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. My name is Lucas Cordova. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to create a longer lasting impression and thus open yourself up to more opportunities in the workplace. I'm going to let you know one tactic that you can employ to do that today, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually first talk about opportunities as a whole. Opportunities stem from a number of things, but one thing about opportunities in the workplace, is knowing the right people can actually be more beneficial or instrumental to your economic growth than what your repertoire is and your experiences. In competition, many people can have very similar resumes, whether it be through known languages, experience, or reputable skills. But for example, some people can get a job because they were the first to know about it, or because they were in the know about it and no one else did. I have a good example about this actually at my workplace recently. One of my employees had recently left, and my boss was griping about how no one was able to fill the position. Another one of my coworkers stepped up, said her roommate was very fitting for the position. They set up an interview, and before the opening even went public, they had already set up an interview, had that connection, and she was actually set up for the job roughly 4 hours after the job had went public afterwards. And so that is a huge gap in competition where if someone else had wanted that position, they wouldn't have been able to have access to it. But because of that connection was there, she was able to get the position very easily. With this in mind, leaving a good first impression to get that initial connection started is very important, because otherwise you're in the same group that everyone else is for competition. One thing you can do to actually improve your chances and leave a longer lasting impression, like I said earlier, stems from what first impressions come from. It can be from the locale, it can be from common interests or commonalities in general, and it can come from your appearance, which is what I'm going to talk about now. One of the easiest things you can do to leave a better impression is to work on your professional appearance, and with that is learning how to tie a tie. Many people don't do this actually, and I came up with this idea because a cousin of mine got a job as a lifeguard, and when he went to go interview, he was the only one of 9 interviewees that had not only a dress shirt but a tie. Everyone else had either had polos, dress shirts, or some had no shirt at all. Many of you confided in him afterwards that I'm actually excited that you came here because no one else was dressed, and it seemed that no one else cared about the position as much as you did. And so I knew immediately when I saw you with that tie and you gave me that handshake that you would be the one for the job. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you how to tie a tie. And hopefully with this and with the experience that I've told you about today, this may help and this may convince you to try to make deeper connections with people so you can get that experience, and so you can get the longer lasting impressions, so you may be able to get those opportunities. So I'll go ahead and get started here. Make sure it was tied so it looked nice when I first started. But this right here is going to be a half Windsor knot, and what you want to know is when you first get started in tying your tie, the right amount of slack isn't right for everyone, so you want to fiddle around with it to see what's good for you. So the first thing we're going to do is, for me, I know about half the length of the thinner side works for me best, and so I have the thicker side on my right side and the thin side on my left. I'm going to fold the wide end of the left twice. Until you find the knot here. I'm going to take the wide end, go right underneath and upwards, all the way out. And then I'm going to pull this through the front of the knot here. And I like to hold the knot so I can kind of keep it in the right structure, so I can keep the knot a little tighter. And so right here, usually a mirror helps, but this should be good enough here. Now if I want to tighten it, I'm going to pull the knot upwards, loose slack on the bottom, downwards. So this should be good enough here once I put the slack in the back of the tie. And you'll put your collar down and you should be all set in the first step of your good first impression. I hope that helped you guys today, and I hope you guys learned something. Thanks.